Anthony Joshua restored the faith in boxing there by doing that, and he had to do that.
What did I just watch? This is Paulie Malignaggi for Paulie TV. What did I just watch? All right? Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua is over. Thank God. Thank God it's over.
Sometimes a story ends in the way that the story should end. It always should have ended with Anthony Joshua knocking out Jake Paul. And that's exactly what we got.
I think Jake Paul had a reality check to all his bold predictions that he was going to do. Reality kicked in once he was stood there in that big 22-foot ring with Anthony Joshua in the corner.
But the bottom line is this. It took Anthony Joshua 6 rounds to stop YouTuber Jake Paul, who spent much of the fight not engaging and clinging to AJ's legs. At one point, the referee had warned the pair of them. The fans didn't pay to watch this crap. Joshua finally imposed himself by knocking down Paul twice in the 5th round, delivered a knockout blow, boom, in the 6th, and broke his jaw reportedly in 2 places. After the fight, Gareth A. Davis caught up with Joshua.
People will criticise you for going 6 rounds with Jake Paul. How do you feel about that?
I deserve it.
Why? Come on.
Because, we're elite fighters. So I put myself in the shoes of a coach. If I was coaching Anthony Joshua and he went 6 rounds with Jake Paul, I would get him back in the gym tomorrow, give him a bit of a beating, and we're getting straight back to work, because I'll be like, how are you letting this kid take you 6 rounds? Are you crazy? But I can't go back in time.
Once the fight was over, several boxing analysts reacted with humor, framing the result not as a shock, but as a long-anticipated wake-up call. What unfolded was confidence colliding with elite heavyweight force, and the laws of physics quickly settled the debate.
Stay away and disengage long enough to where he can be proud of going 6 rounds with Anthony Joshua. And it sounds like I'm being a hater. I'm not being a hater. I'm just saying what I saw, right? I don't think he was there to actually fight him. What was the game plan? Stick and move, try and lunge in, try and shoot in a takedown? No, that's not how you win a boxing.
The so-called pretty boy experiment didn't conclude with shock or controversy. It finished with real damage and a quiet realization. The kind that sets in when hype collides with reality and there's nowhere left to hide.
Dude's got balls. Dude's got balls to stand in there with AJ, who had been off, so his chin is refreshed. He's ready to fight.
I'm not surprised that Anthony Joshua could have knocked Jake Paul out anytime he wanted to. He didn't want to.
So why didn't he?
Because, you're when you're on a platform like Netflix that turns 1-part episodes into a 6-part series, why would you think that part of their entertainment model is to have a 30-second fight? Why?
And let's be honest, anyone with even a working knowledge of boxing could see this outcome coming long before fight night. Paul's rise had been built on carefully chosen risks. Retired MMA fighters past their prime champions, and athletes more familiar with arenas and boxing rings. Add in allowed promotion, viral moments, and bold claims about changing the sport, and the formula stayed the same every time. Build the hype, manage the danger, repeat the cycle, until it finally met a level it couldn't outrun.
My hat to him, for showing the balls that he did, for taking the fight in the first place, for not folding as soon as he got cracked with the right hand. There was one moment where he did get hit and he kind of buckled, and he had a look on his face like, oh, this is a real fight now. But he still stayed on his feet. And even like you said, when he got knocked down 4 times in all, he still got up. I mean, obviously the final knockdown, he didn't get up to beat the count, but he was on his rear end. He wasn't flat on his back out cold. And that was a heavy duty right hand, the last one that landed. I think that's the one that probably broke his jaw.
Then 2025 arrived, and the equation changed completely. Jake Paul found himself opposite Anthony Joshua, a former unified heavyweight champion, Olympic gold medalist, and a fighter whose resume was built through real battles. Joshua entered with more than 24 professional victories, multiple championship runs, and a career that traces back to London 2012. Paul, by comparison, stepped in with just 13 bouts and no prior exposure to elite-level heavyweight boxing.
We know he's not a boxer, so he's still a little bit delusional, because he's really lucky that that's all he got out of that fight with was a broken jaw. I think it's broken 2 places. So that really should signal the end of his boxing. I'm not going to call it a career. It is what it is. But that should signal the end.
The difference was obvious from the opening seconds. Joshua managed range with the calm authority of someone who has spent years mastering it, drawing reactions, controlling tempo, and allowing Paul to pursue openings that were never truly there. While the physical size gap was noticeable, it was a gulf in experience that ultimately defined how the fight unfolded.
Anthony Joshua was a chiseled 250 in most of his fights or thereabouts. So from that standpoint, he had all the physical advantages as well as all the experience and skills advantages. So why couldn't he do it earlier? Because it's hard to catch up with a guy when he's just going to run around and never try to even take a front step whatsoever. So that means
Jake promised fireworks all week. Joshua showed up with a job to do. The opening rounds unfolded in that quiet, unsettling way. Slow, deliberate, no wasted motion. As the space in the ring gradually disappeared, Paul tried to project confidence, but his movement told a different story. Retreating, resetting too late, reacting instead of taking control. So when the finish finally came, it didn't surprise anyone who had assessed the matchup honestly. In heavyweight boxing, outcomes don't need build-up or warning. They simply happen.
Are you telling me that Netflix probably emphasized, listen, guys, take this as long as you can?
So the bottom line is you take nothing from this. It was an entertainment product designed to get Netflix
But last week you said it wasn't scripted.
I think that ultimately Anthony Joshua's approach to it was what I said at the beginning. What I said was,
now you're telling us Netflix passed on a message, guys.
I'm saying that Netflix's modus operandi is to operate with this kind of principle, which is stretch the entertainment. Anthony Joshua goes in. I frame the question to these boys that have been in the ring. Could he go in there in an aroused mindset because he knows what he's dealing with? No. He goes in as a killer. He went in there with a mindset, knowing what he was dealing with, and took his time and had no reason to do anything other than get him out of there when he felt like.
And then the conversation shifted away from the fight itself and into Jake Paul's post-fight reality. When Nikki Sabai-Darian stepped up to speak, it felt like moving from the ring straight into a press briefing, where the focus wasn't on punishment anymore, but on pride. Listening to him, the message was clear. This was loyalty in full effect. And to be fair, that's exactly his role. The loss wasn't denied, but the framing changed. The emphasis became what Jake supposedly gained by lasting against Anthony Joshua, an Olympic gold medalist, a two-time world champion, fully prepared and operating at his peak.
He feels, disappointed that he lost, but as I said to him, he should be very proud in what he won. And what he won was showing the world that he's a capable boxer who hung in there with a Olympic gold medalist, two-time world champion, who's actually been recovering and being fresh for over 14 months. People are like, oh, he's rusty, he's been out of the ring. It's actually the opposite. He took a break. He let his body recuperate, right? And he was preparing for a fight in November. So that was the mind.
And to be fair, the pride makes sense. 6 years ago, Jake Paul was known for YouTube thumbnails, and now he's standing in front of right hands that put genuine heavyweights away. That counts for something. But we should also be clear with ourselves. Lasting isn't the same as truly competing. Sneaking a round or two on optics doesn't change how the story ends. Recasting Joshua's time away as some kind of masterstroke is high-level spin. The truth is, he wasn't searching for himself in that ring. He was hunting. And when Nikisa talks about shouting from ringside, it's easy to believe because when your fighter is living minute to minute against heavyweight power, every second feels borrowed. The loyalty and optimism are understandable, even admirable.
Walk me through the emotions of watching it, what was happening.
Look, a lot of surrealism in terms of what I was seeing. For Jake Paul, who I met 6 years ago, who was a quote-unquote YouTuber, to be hanging in there, come into round 6, won at least 2 rounds in my mind of that fight, where the British media constantly say he's a novice. The novice went in there and showed an Olympic gold medalist from the United Kingdom that he could hang with him on 4 weeks' notice.
And just as Nikisa wrapped up the pride-focused narrative, the broadcast shifted to Paulie Malignaggi, and the tone changed instantly. He sounded like someone who bought premium seats expecting a fight, and realized too late he'd paid for frustration instead. Paulie wasn't calmly analyzing tactics. He was reacting in real time, equal parts disbelief and exasperation. Listening to him, it was hard not to laugh, cringe, and agree all at once, because he was voicing what many were thinking but soft-ash peddling, I and Paulie's view. Jake didn't truly engage. He circled, burst away, tied up, slipped, stalled, and found inventive ways to stretch the clock like it came with a free trial. What made Malignaggi's reaction land wasn't bitterness. it was let down. His criticism didn't sound like hate.
What do you want the guy to do? I mean, this guy reigned for his life in a 22 by 22 foot ring. That ring was huge. That ring was huge. I can't believe what I just watched, guys. I'm seriously, like, dude, that's it. That's it. This was AJ's chance. Could have went out on his shield and his chance to say, yeah, get the respect of the boxing community. This was the one that could have got him the respect of the boxing community. This was the one. He came out with all this rap crap and then doing the Hulkamania crap and all that other stuff and all that stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, is he that calm, or is he literally just setting up his own demise? I don't know. AJ came out to the ring really serious, which would you expect? And then, I mean, he never fought. Jake never.
That sense of this was the moment hung over everything, a chance to earn genuine respect. And instead, the choice was conditioning and avoidance. Paulie even gave Joshua a pass, because what exactly is a heavyweight supposed to do? Grow roller skates mid-fight? Fighters at that size don't build careers chasing track athletes around oversized rings. The most telling moment might have been Malik Nagy admitting he considered leaving early, which says everything about the atmosphere. This wasn't nail-biting suspense. It was wide-eyed disbelief. Jake talked loudly, arrived larger than life, and carried himself like a star. But once the bell rang, he boxed like someone hoping not to be noticed. When Paulie said that 3 reckless minutes would have earned...
I don't know, man. And it's really something mind-boggling that just happened. I mean, think about what you could do for boxing if Netflix spent, would they make 90 million each? Whatever. You have to say they make 50 million each. If you spent 100 million on boxing, you know what? You could completely resurrect boxing. You know the kind of fights you can make with $100 million in boxing. You know what the kind of traction boxing would have if you spent $100 million on boxing and made the best would fight the best easily.
And just as Malik Nagy finished unloading like someone who'd aged a decade over 6 rounds, the focus shifted to Wade Plemons checking in from Dubai with a calmer, clear-headed take. The contrast was striking. It felt like the morning after breakdown once the noise had faded. What worked about Wade's reaction was how measured it was. No dramatics, no overreach. His point was simple. This wasn't mysterious or shocking. It was a matter of levels. From the start, there were only 2 realistic outcomes. Either Jake landed something miraculous, the kind of punch fighters pray for, or Anthony Joshua eventually enforced reality of heavyweight boxing. Wade acknowledged that Joshua wasn't chasing highlight clips, but he didn't need to.
Out, make Jake hold his weight and have the referee separate. That led to Jake, as soon as he felt AJ putting his weight on him or pushing him down, hitting the floor, diving at AJ's knees, and then eventually Jake would go to clinch and immediately fall to the ground on his own. And this became a problem because then it looked intentionally like Jake was going to the ground. There was one time where Jake went to the ground and AJ kept swinging on him. That I didn't like to see, but this was Jake's survival of the fittest moment. This was Darwinism in a boxing ring, right? He had to do whatever he could to just extend the fight and get one more, hope and pray shot, one more step back. He had a great step back uppercut, I think in the 4th round that it clipped AJ. Honestly, you could see what AJ had said in their face-to-face, that he needed to break Jake's soul. He needed to break it.
Where Wade truly hits the mark is in describing the instant when reality catches up. You can see it written on Jake's face even before the finish. The breathing slows and deepens. The legs lose their spring, and the confidence starts quietly backing away. On that point, Wade's read of the moment is hard to argue with.
Respect the hell out of him for going and doing it, and there's not any normal people on earth that would have done it. I don't care if you say, oh, for the money I would have, you're lying. And there's not many pro boxers that would have done what Jake did in stepping in with AJ, giving it his best shot, and he wasn't anywhere near AJ's level. He just wasn't. He had the script flipped on him tonight, just levels to the game. He just did not have the skill, ability, power, size, speed, or endurance to hang with AJ. And that's the difference in heavyweight.
When you put all of it together, the jokes, the loyalty-driven defenses, the frustration, and the measured analysis, it becomes clear this wasn't just a single fight. It was a collision of hype and reality, resilience and restraint, all meeting in the same ring. Some will argue Jake showed real toughness. Others will see nothing more than an unavoidable outcome. Eso, what do you think? Was this calculated patience, simple inevitability, or boxing once again proving that levels don't bend for storylines? Share your thoughts in the comments. Keep the conversation respectful, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next one.